did see Locked.
Did see it.
Okay, well, I like this director, David Yarovesky, who did Brightburn. Locked, of course, stars. And by the way, Sam Raimi was one of the producers on this film. It's a tight thriller. Basically, the Bill Skarsgård, who plays Eddie Barish, is the star. Anthony Hopkins plays, well, for most of the movie, a disembodied voice of a character named William. Bill Skarsgård's Eddie has a daughter. He's estranged from his wife. He is a small-time thief who happens upon a very expensive-looking car that he breaks into and then is trapped in for most of the movie. The whole rest of
80% of the movie.
80% of the movie. Now, it's very claustrophobic, and you would think this makes the movie, it sort of brings it down small. It is an amazing thriller that, without giving things away, escalates the stakes in every way it goes. And Anthony Hopkins, as the character of William, has had enough. There was a tragedy involving his daughter. He's tired of his expensive car being broken into, and he sets a trap in which Eddie is now in the car being electrocuted, tortured with polka music. By the way, my grandfather used to play the polka, so no hate on polka music. My grandfather, he had a polka. He played the polka. He had the whole thing.
And your dad was a barbershop quartet singer.
My dad was in a barbershop
quartet. That's your musical heritage.
I come from a musical family in which I have no musical talent whatsoever. Anyways, Eddie is, I really like Bill Skarsgård. He's very different in each of his roles. The Crow was not great. He was not great in The Crow, but he was really good in Barbarian, recent horror film.
Yeah, Bill Kills World, which was also directed by produced by Sam Raimi.
Yeah, now this, you would think, it's going to be claustrophobic. It's going to drag. The stakes get raised as it goes. His young daughter, her life is at stake. William doesn't care. It becomes actually, it becomes this whole philosophical discussion about where morality comes from, right and wrong, stealing. Is there any instance in which stealing is right? So they end up having these deep discussions as William continues to torture Eddie in the car. And from the way it's filmed, so Eddie's in the car, but the camera moves in a 360 degree. I'm sure there was digital enhancement, whatever. I don't know how they did it. It's
I can tell you how. I can tell you. It was done in the volume. It was done in the volume.
I'm sure, but this does not look like a volume movie. It does not look like a volume movie and then there's also some high-speed chase and shenanigans with the car that continue to up the stakes. Again, no spoilers on this, but this really surprised me. It's a tight 95 minutes thriller, and it delivers in the end. I really enjoyed it and did not expect to, but the fact that David did Brightburn, which I really loved, when Film Threat was an audio only podcast, I did interview David for that movie, but I thoroughly enjoyed it and would recommend it. Probably a solid 7.5 even for this. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's an interesting thriller because it does take place in that confined space. I think I'm saying it was shot in the volume because I think that's the only way you can get those camera angles. And when we saw the movie Daddy-O, which also takes place in a car, they talked about, the car was constructed in a way that you could get a camera in and out and get the backgrounds going. And so that's why I'm saying that. And these are things I find interesting because I think when I watch movies, I think a lot about how is it made? How did they pull off this shot? And that's one thing that really surprised me about this movie. The other thing is it's a small movie. And I say that because it does take place in the car for 80% of the time. He's stuck there. And so, the world is very small in this film, which I liked. And then lastly, the last point I wanted to make was, it does one of these tropes that I hate. Right off the front, Eddie comes out. He's this tough guy. He's in trouble. He makes he causes trouble with the guy who's fixing his car, and then his phone rings, and there's a cute picture of his daughter. And now it's like, oh my God. Okay, so instantly we have the reason to feel compassion for Eddie. It works in the film, but I'm saying that this is becoming an annoying trope, because every time you have the protagonist phone ring and there's a cute child on it, now children are going to be in danger.
Yeah,
and this whole thing to play out. But overall, I did enjoy the film. It's a tight, small thriller, like you say, because thrillers in my mind tend to be in large worlds. In this case, it's a very compacted world, and they use that. Eddie uses the car, has to understand the car to figure out a way to get out of it, and that's the kind of thrills that you have in this movie.
Well, I recommend it. Maybe your number rating is not as high as mine, but I recommend it. It was a surprise.
Yep.
What do you think,
I'll give it a solid 7. Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
It delivers on what it promises, definitely.
And actually is better than the trailer.
Yeah.